Hello and welcome to the Endpoint Security Technical Sales presentation. Here are the topics that we'll cover in the Endpoint Security Technical Sales presentation. The best protection is not one size fits all. Each organization is unique with a different protection requirement. The question, is a specific application behavior normal, may be answered differently depending on the organization, the purpose of the application behavior, and the level of scrutiny applied to the behavior. What may be normal for one environment is a potential threat in another, and today's attackers employing living off the land techniques to exploit these vulnerable application behaviors makes them difficult to detect. In essence, living off the land refers to attackers using either operating system features or dual-use tools to perpetrate their malicious campaigns. Today's attackers have a tremendous economy of scale advantage because existing endpoint security products provide the same protection to each customer. Attackers can therefore use the same techniques to attack multiple victims. An evolved strategy is required to overcome this serious protection challenge. A one-size-fits-all approach is not effective. To address these needs, SES Complete is a comprehensive set of protection technologies that provides industry-leading protection across all operating systems and for all device types. SES Complete expands upon Symantec's award-winning endpoint protection technology to truly address the ever-evolving threat landscape. In this presentation, we'll focus on the core product use cases as they relate to the attack chain sequence shown on this slide. As we'll see, these areas are well covered by the layered technologies of the SES Complete solution. In the pre-attack phase, SES Complete has several tools to help reduce the overall attack surface in the environment. In the attack phase, SES Complete's full stack of attack prevention technologies defends customers from both known and emerging threats. In the breach phase, Threat Defense for Active Directory plays a critical role in discovering vulnerabilities and protecting against Active Directory breaches. Finally, for the post-breach phase, endpoint detection and response tools are used to investigate security incidents and ultimately close security blind spots. The components of SES Complete include a single agent deployment for all operating systems, intelligence data that is correlated and analyzed by the largest civilian cyber intelligence network, as well as third-party integrations to help enterprises make the most of their security resources. Let's take a closer look at the key use cases and focus on how they'll relate to the attack chain sequence shown in this slide. With the continual rise of targeted attacks, attack surface reduction must become a critical part of every company's cybersecurity strategy. Tools like adaptive protection, custom application behaviors, and application control help you defend against malicious actors who often use common tools and applications to exploit sensitive network data and resources. With the evolution of today's modern enterprise incorporating expanded device types, cloud-based public and private infrastructure, and a roaming and often disconnected workforce, protecting corporate data becomes even more complex and challenging. And today's attacks not only continue to be prevalent across all endpoint types, but they are also evolving as well. Attackers use a technique called living off the land to infiltrate and infect an organization. This means using whatever tools are on hand, such as Word documents, email, PowerShell, and other legitimate network administration software and operating system features to initiate and launch an attack. Living off the land works to the attacker's advantage because the tools are common, most victims are running these programs or can run them. They are also easy to use for malicious purposes, much easier than finding and exploiting a zero-day vulnerability and writing sophisticated malware. They allow attackers to hide in plain sight. End users in IT expect these tools to be on a machine, and the intent that the tool is being used for harm can be hard to determine. The implementation of Active Directory evolves over time, and Active Directory configuration settings may not be properly maintained. Security enhancements may not be implemented, and vulnerabilities may begin to appear on the domain and Active Directory service, which may be used against them by attackers. Additionally, attackers leave behind backdoors and persistence hooks that allow them to come back at any time. The Threat Defense for Active Directory Breach Assessment tool uses attack simulations to gather in-depth information about the configuration of the domain, privileged accounts, security settings, group policy objects, endpoints, domain controllers, and Kerberos. It analyzes every part of the domain and Active Directory structure for misconfigurations and backdoors attackers may leave behind. Adaptive Protection has allowed Symantec to move more of the protection technologies to the left of the MITRE attack stack. This is important because we have found a unique way of securing your organization. With Symantec Adaptive Protection, we do the work of identifying those living off the land tools in your organization for you. An adaptive protection policy utilizes the proven Sonar behavior monitoring technology in SES Complete to give you the ability to monitor and receive information about application behaviors in the environment. You can use adaptive protection to reduce the attack surface by blocking behaviors that these trusted applications never use in your environment. To protect an enterprise against living off the land attacks, Adaptive Protection uses a rich behavioral analysis engine as well as global threat telemetry and expertise. Administrators can use the prevalence analysis coupled with correlated MITRE techniques to help determine which application behaviors to block. We provide an easy workflow to quickly block the behaviors with zero prevalence with a click of a button. The average customer can reduce the attack surface by over 90% with no impact to the user. With Adaptive Protection, learning is continuous and new endpoints and tools or behaviors can go back into learning mode. A typical organization runs a wide range of devices, from fixed function devices to high change endpoints. Each endpoint needs to be appropriately protected. Symantec Application Control can protect them all. Depending on the device type, data sensitivity, and desired security profile, application control can be configured to achieve different postures within the same environment. Applications can make their way into the environment in a variety of different ways, including email, USB, and browsers. SES Complete monitors applications downloaded or installed on the endpoints. It uses Symantec's Global Intelligence Network, or GIN, to determine the application's risk and to make a recommendation. If the endpoint has an active application control policy, SES Complete checks to see if the application has been blocked or allowed. Application control can also auto-generate allow and block lists using the attribute based on reputation-based rules. Device control interfaces with the hardware control on Windows to prevent external devices from accessing the system. For example, a policy can allow an approved USB stick while setting all other USB storage devices to read only. The following types of device control rules can be added to device control policies: Windows external devices, Windows USB mass storage, and finally Mac. The control is granular and can prevent data exfiltration and malicious files from entering the system. The device control policy includes a default list of hardware devices that you can allow or block in a device control rule. You can also add custom hardware devices that are not in the default list. Years ago, traditional antivirus technologies were all that was needed to protect an endpoint from an attack. However, with the dramatic shift of the threat landscape over the last few years, it is no longer reasonable to think that antivirus-based technologies alone are sufficient. To address this, Symantec has developed a collaborative ecosystem of security technologies to protect Symantec's users from malicious attacks. What are we protecting endpoints from? In a word, malware. Things like unauthorized file process, registry modifications, keyloggers, trojans, worms, spyware, ransomware, and zero-day vulnerabilities. All of which are tools that malicious actors employ to take control of computer systems, gain access to networks, steal information, and damage or destroy critical data. Symantec Technology supplies the world's most advanced single-agent endpoint security solution, featuring a number of security engines and depth of protections offered in each. Symantec Endpoint Security offers advanced prevention as the foundational core protection mechanism, and the rest of the endpoint security portfolio delivers added protections for the most